Hi, how y'all doing? Today's Wednesday. I don't know what the date is. I just know it's Wednesday. And it's somewhere about 9:30 in the evening. And as you can see, I am home. Blissfully so. My podiatrist made good on his promise, and it was a one-day surgery. It was a lot of surgery for one day, and some of the hospital personnel were consistently reminding me, you can stay another day, so we can look after you. It'll be okay. But I wanted to come home. I needed to come home. I get Joey tomorrow. I needed to be home. What was done today needed to be done, but I think I have adapted well enough to semi-crippled life and taking care of myself and my two old dogs and my old, extremely needy, pain in the butt house cat that won't leave me alone. Come on, get up here. Come on. I can't reach down there and pick you up anymore right now. You want to jump up here, you can jump up here. Come on. This is Lucky. Lucky. You look over here. That, no, you don't want to do it. Lucky. This is Lucky. He is lucky because right when it was really starting to get cold at the beginning of winter, many years ago, 13 years ago now, pretty sure it was winter of 2012, my ex-wife found him, a teeny tiny little pipsqueak, out in the parking lot of her work in Palatka, meowing at everybody that walked by, insisting that somebody pick him up and take him home. He was just old enough to start exploring, and he got lost, I guess. So she brought him home, and he managed to find a home, find a shelter right before a real bad cold snap started. And then probably 9 or 10 months later, our Jack Russell Terrier almost succeeded in ripping off his rear hind leg. He severely mangled it, broke it all to hell, almost tore it off. That was an incident, I'll tell you. We had a good vet, and he managed to pin it back together. And the recovery process was what was difficult, but we did it, and he's fine. He's got a game leg. He's got a little limp. He can't run as fast or jump as high anymore. Not because he's old, but because of that leg. He couldn't back then. It bothers him sometimes when it gets real cold or when it rains. But he's an old cat, and just another part of the family that my ex-wife left behind. And kind of like the Jack Russell Terrier, Cooper, that died last year. You know, for that dog, my wife, my ex-wife, was his world, and she broke his heart just as bad as she broke mine when she left us, because she left him too. And it's kind of the same for this guy, you know. He would spend more time with her than he did me. I was gone more with my job. And then with the animals, it was almost like, I'm pretty sure that they could like smell the toxic chemicals in my body when I would do the chemotherapy, because for 3 to 5 days after I would get a dose, him, the other cats that we had, the dogs, they would come sniff me and see me for a minute, but they'd keep sniffing me, and you know, they would sneeze, and it's like, you stink, you smell bad, and they would walk away. And this guy never gave me a lot of attention. He would, you know, come see me sometimes, and he would gladly take some scratches and scritches. But he didn't used to just come jump in my lap. He would always, you know, jump in her lap and hang out with her. He started doing that a little bit after she left. But after I came back from being gone for 4+ months in total, hospital, rehabs, you know, after all this mess started, when I came back, he's constantly wanting to get in my lap, you know. I don't know if he thought I abandoned him the way she did or what, but when I came back, he don't like to leave me alone. He loves to be outside during the day. He's a house cat, but he's an honorary outside cat too. I got a fenced-in backyard that is probably, I would say 40 or 50 by maybe 80 or 100, and 5-foot chain link fence. You know, we had that put in when we bought the house for the dogs, and he likes to go out there every day, and he will stay out there all day. He never tries to climb the fence. He never tries to get out. He stays inside the fence, and he will stay out there all day. When I come downstairs in the morning, I freshen everybody's food and water dishes. His food dish is actually upstairs, because both of my dogs will hoover the cat food if they can get to it. But I freshen everybody's food and water, you know. I put out breakfast, and then I let everybody out to go to the bathroom in the backyard, and sometimes he'll eat a few bites, and then he goes out, and he stays out all day. Unless it's really cold or it's really hot, he's out there all day. He'll come in around sundown. And then when he's in here, he wants to be in my lap and on me. He's a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes, but I don't mind. He's a senior citizen. He's entitled. So the procedures I had done today, he worked on both my legs, feet today. Those two puppies are out there barking at my deer clan that likes to hang out on the property. So the right foot, Stumpy, he went in and he lengthened the Achilles tendon to give me more upward mobility, to take pressure off the end of it, to try to help that toe site heal. He also grafted that site. And he took a square off of my left foot and put on my right foot. So I feel kind of like a mismatched puzzle. Um, and for my left side, he debrided the ulcer that was trying to start beneath the synthetic graft put on by the idiot doctor that I was seeing before, because the guy was he was an idiot and he's kind of an asshole. And he went into my lower leg and he lengthened my calf muscle to give me more mobility at the ankle, because I haven't talked about this recently. I talked about it a lot in my days hospital, Bayview, when I first came home, because it was constantly on my mind. But I got to where I didn't talk about it as much because it wasn't present in my mind as much. But along with everything else, I have Charcot's disease. It's spelled charcots. Everybody pronounces it charcots. I don't know what's the difference. I sometimes say charcots. I sometimes say charcots. It doesn't matter. It typically is a B symptom of diabetes. It's its own thing, but it's typically only seen in long-term diabetics. And what it does is it damages and affects the joints and the bones in your feet. It can affect tissue and tendons. And it can go up your legs. If left unchecked, it eats your joints. It basically turns your joints to jelly. And it makes your bones weak and brittle. And there is no cure for it. It can be managed. It can, in some cases, be halted, but it cannot be cured, and at least right now, it cannot be reversed. One of the reasons that it was very present before is the previous podiatrist that I was seeing, the guy that was kind of an idiot and an asshole. He was telling me that I had very advanced Charcots in both feet, and that I was going to have to wear these special boots. I think they were called cat boots for the rest of my life. And they were like a $600 pair of boots, specially made, and they would help to stop the progress of Charcot's. But when I got with my wizard here, my foot wizard I like to call him, he said, yeah, there are signs of early Charcot's, but you don't have advanced Charcot's. He said I don't know what was going on with other doctor, but he was spinning you around. You don't have advanced Charcot's. So I'm like, great, that's a weight off my mind. But I do have it. And it has begun to attack the Achilles tendon on my left foot, my left leg. It's becoming stiff, and it takes on like this kind of almost calcification where it becomes stiff and kind of hard, and it doesn't want to flex. And that's the charcots, and apparently that cannot be reversed. So what he did is he lengthened my calf muscle to give me, again, my left foot more travel with the ankle, which will help me to walk better and will reduce the risk of injury for now. Charcots does advance, it does progress. And I know I said before that I may be looking in a few years at actually having to amputate both of my feet as a result of the charcots. That is still a reality. It may be a little longer out, it may be 5-10 years out, maybe 15, should I live that long. But it's still a reality, and it's still something that I have to keep in the back of my mind. I can't forget that this is down there, and that was the primary reason for today, was to lengthen my calf muscle. And he wanted to get as much done as we could in one go. Would you stop with the claws? Get your fish hooks out of my skin. Mangy old flea line. And no, he doesn't have fleas. He wanted to get as much done today as we could, because this hospital that I was at, this St. Vincent's Hospital, they take my insurance. But it's a 20-mile trip for me to get there. I cannot go there on a constant basis like I could with Flagler UF, because that hospital is, 3.5-4 miles down the road. They're 5 minutes away. This is 20 miles down the road, and it is on the interstate, but my folks try to avoid the interstate. My mom can drive on the interstate. It makes her want to chug a fifth of bourbon after she does so, and she can't do that. And she is guaranteed to curse people on the interstate in 3 different languages as loud as she can. And she will not hesitate to chase somebody down that tries to cut her off or almost hit her. But we can't do that, stuff like that. We shouldn't do stuff like that, and we can't do stuff like that in the Jeep, because the Jeep needs the front end rebuilt. There are a lot of bushings, rubberized bushings, in your steering assembly in any vehicle. And they are badly worn on the Jeep. There is a lot of play in the Jeep. You can, wobble the wheel a good 4 or 5 inches before the wheels will actually move. There's a lot of vibration due to worn out bushings in the different linkages and assemblies in the steering assembly. So freeway speeds are not a good idea. About 60, 65 is as fast as it can go right now safely. I know how to replace a lot of those bushings, and if I was strong if I was strong enough, I could replace some of them. But there are also some that need to be specially pressed in and pressed out with special tools that I don't have access to. So to properly fix this, it's going to have to be done at a shop, and it's going to be money that we don't have. So we're just trying to baby it for now. So what we have to do to get to this hospital is on County Road 210, which is at the very north end of St. Johns County. Like I said, 20 miles from here. We take US 1 up to County Road 210, which the traffic is still kind of bad. There's a lot of people driving on US 1 that are still trying to drive like they're on 95. They're cutting in and out, doing 80 and 90 miles an hour like they're trying to qualify for a rally race. And it's still a pain. And then we take this cut through, so we don't have to drive through St. Augustine. We go around it because I live south of St. Augustine proper. And so we kind of go around town and then get on US 1 on the north side of town. And then we take US 1 up to County Road 210, and then we take that over to the hospital. The hospital is on 210, but it's right there by the interstate. My truck I could take on the interstate, but I can't drive, and my mom's not familiar with the truck, and so we just take the Jeep. Plus, even though my truck has a back seat, my truck has the 2 jump seats in the back, not a full back seat. And it would probably take a fire crew to get my dad in and out of that back seat. So, Jeep it is. But I can't be going back and forth to this hospital, you know. We can plan day surgeries or plan, you know, a couple of days, but I can't be going back and forth. In an emergency basis, I would actually love to go to that emergency room. They were talking when I went yesterday about one of their week highlights is they had 56 people in the emergency room in a 12-hour period. That's breakfast at my hospital here, Flagler UF. They will have hundreds of people go through the emergency room in a day. Sometimes you can get in there and it's quiet, but especially if there's a bug or even just a cold going around, they will be slammed, and you are talking hours and hours and hours before you see anybody. This is a Baptist hospital, or not Baptist, it's St. Vincent's. It is a much smaller hospital. It only has 3 floors, which is strange for all the growth that's happening up there. I would have thought they would have built it bigger. It's only 3 years old. I had never been to it. In fact, the last time I went to Jacksonville on 95, they were building it, and I saw them building it, but I hadn't been there. But it was a very nice hospital, and all the staff was wonderful. My nurse today, Miss Valerie, was absolutely an angel. And my podiatrist, he primarily works Flagler UF here in town, but he's got privileges at this St. Vincent's. He wanted to get as much done today as he could because he's not going to be back up there for 2 or 3 weeks. And this had to be done kind of like now, he said. And like I said, he is the foot wizard. He's the miracle worker. So if he says it's got to be done, as much as I hate it, I'm going to say okay. I did hate it. I spent enough time in the hospital and a rehab last year to last me for 1,000 years. But I got to keep it going, and at least this way I shouldn't have to fight my insurance too bad. I'm a lot more unsteady, and getting around is a lot harder right now. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm going to do it. Now if I can just find a way to save this damn house. Anyway, coming to my time limit, almost 26 minutes on this camera. I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to take some melatonin, and I'm going to get ready to try to drag my carcass upstairs. Should be interesting. So I'm going to say goodnight to y'all here. I haven't looked at any of the comments on that last video. I haven't had time, so I'm sorry I haven't answered any. But I'm going to get this posted, and I'm going to head upstairs and try to get some sleep in a real bed. It may be old, but it's so much more comfortable than a hospital bed, I tell you. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for your comments and your concern, and continuing to follow along. The GoFundMe link is in the description if you care to help out. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow or the next day. Bye-bye.